In the day's other news, U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg announced she's had a recurrence of cancer and is undergoing chemotherapy. In a court statement, Ginsburg said the treatment has already reduced lesions on her liver. She also said she has no plans to retire. Ginsburg is 87 and previously recovered from lung and pancreatic cancers. She was briefly hospitalized this week for a possible infection. In Georgia, 3 white men charged with murdering an unarmed black man, Ahmaud Arbery, pled not guilty today. Police say Arbery was shot and killed after the men spotted him jogging, thought he was a burglar, and chased him down. It happened in February, and no charges were filed until video of the incident emerged last month. The Pentagon issued a new policy today that effectively bans the Confederate flag from military installations. Defense Secretary Mark Esper said in a memo that only the American flag will be displayed, along with state, territorial, and military banners. At a virtual town hall, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley, said the oath that everyone makes in the military is paramount.
Going back to the oath, going back to the idea that is America, the idea that every one of us is free and equal. Remember the words of Lincoln, that this is a nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men, and I would add all women, are created equal, period, full stop. And that's what we're about.
The president has defended the right to display the Confederate flag. In view of that, the Pentagon policy never directly mentions the flag or uses the word ban, though it does have the same effect. The federal government has carried out its 3rd execution this week. An Iowa drug kingpin, Dustin Honkin, died by lethal injection this afternoon at a federal prison in Terre Haute, Indiana. He'd been convicted of killing 5 people in 1993. Federal executions resumed this week after 17 years. The Democratic National Committee is telling members of Congress not to attend the party's national convention next month in Milwaukee. An email from the DNC cites COVID-19 and says the convention will be mostly virtual, with delegates voting remotely. Republicans have downsized their convention in Jacksonville, Florida, but are still planning for delegates to attend in person. The Democratic chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Eliot Engel, lost his primary to a progressive challenger today. The Associated Press declared Jamal Bowman the winner. He campaigned for racial justice and argued Engel has lost touch with voters after 16 terms. The primary was June 24th. It took this long to determine the winner from absentee ballots. Nations across South Asia are now reporting more than 220 dead in monsoon flooding. Nearly 4 million people across Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Myanmar, and Nepal have been cut off or forced to flee in recent weeks. The devastation has submerged homes and roadways across the region, leaving people like these in Bangladesh increasingly desperate.
We've taken shelter beside a road and we're out of work. Our children are with us and we can't get a square meal. We don't have anything good to eat. You cannot imagine how we are getting through this.
Forecasters in Bangladesh say the flooding could get worse next week as 2 major rivers overflow. A 100-year-old man in Britain was knighted today for raising more than $40 million in pandemic relief. Tom Moore sought donations last spring using his walker to lap his garden 100 times, one for each year of his life. His feat became a sensation and the money poured in. Today, outside Windsor Castle, Moore leaned against his walker as Queen Elizabeth honored him. And with the traditional sword tap, he formally became Sir Tom. And on Wall Street today, stocks mostly mark time as investors weighed surging COVID infections against the possibility of more economic aid from Congress. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 62 points to close below 26,672. The Nasdaq rose 29 points and the S&P 500 added 9. And a key civil rights leader, the Reverend C.T. Vivian, died today in Atlanta. He was a close ally of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and organized freedom rides across the South. He also led efforts to register Black voters in Selma, Alabama, where a white sheriff famously punched him, galvanizing the movement. In 2013, President Obama recognized Reverend Vivian for his decades of leadership and awarded him the Presidential Medal of Freedom. C.T. Vivian was 95 years old. Still to come on the NewsHour, federal agents detain demonstrators as part of the president's plan to stop protests. The spike in coronavirus hospitalizations threatens to overwhelm Arizona's healthcare system. Mark Shields and David Brooks break down the week's political news, plus much more.
This is the PBS NewsHour from WETA Studios in Washington and in the West from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.